The story for October Moon came from a variety of true stories in my own life, people that I knew and people that had told me other situations. It's a big coming out story, and with a dark twist, obviously. And it was a combination of some friends of mine, the experiences that they had had in coming out to family members and friends, my own personal experience of having a father who was gay, and kind of what my mother went through in that, and kind of what I thought my father went through in his way of thinking back in the 1960s, why he wouldn't have come out, why he did get married, had a child.
I don't think it's right to mingle with that type. God made men and women for a reason, and all they do is destroy other people's lives. Well, they base everything they do on lies.
At the time that I was writing the story, I had not come out to my own parents. And the scenario in the living room between Elliot and his mother is what I feared it would be.
Get out of my house.
Mom.
Out!
But Mom!
No son of mine is going to be like that.
I can't help it.
How could you do this to me?
I have to say that my mother is the exact opposite of Judith O'Dea's character in October Moon. My mother was open-armed and welcoming and was, kind of like duh, was no big surprise to her or my father. I tried getting a gay-themed horror series going back in 1999. And, everybody that I had gone to was kind of like, excellent idea, not going to happen. America isn't ready for this. But I think this is the first gay-themed horror film that projects gay men in a positive light as the heroes and not necessarily the bad guys. I chose the cast for October Moon. It was made up of people that I had worked with before, Tina Unabox-Tellis and Brink Stevens and Jeff Dillingham. I'd worked with him on Deadly Stingers. I'd worked with Brink on a couple of my own movies, and we worked on Hell Asylum and whatnot. And I'd always been a fan of hers. Tina Unabox-Tellis I had seen in Aswang and had worked with on a couple of my really early efforts, like Five Dark Souls and lots of other crap that I don't want anyone to see anymore. Judith O'Dea I had met through an ad I had placed. She was in my documentary, Something to Scream About, and then she's just perfect for the role. As I was writing the script, I knew that the mother was a character that I knew Judith could handle.
I hope you're not looking at one of those websites with naked girls.
Sean Michael Lambrecht, who plays Corin, was chosen. Never an actor in his life, never intended to be an actor. And just looking at him and studying him, and I was like, he's Corin. This is the guy. He'd be totally natural for this. He's got the look. He's kind of got the attitude of Corin. So I had him come over to my apartment one day with the idea that he was just going to help me read through the script, because I didn't know that the dialogue would work, was my excuse. There were 3 lines in specific that I wanted to see if he would hit without me telling him how to hit them. And he did every single line exactly as they should have been said. And that was it. I offered it to him on the spot. He asked me to give him a day to think about it, and came back the next day and was enthusiastic. So it's a mixture of professionals, flew people in. It's a mixture of people from the local area, and it's a mixture of people who never, ever in their lives intended to act. So that all considered, I think everybody did a pretty damn good job. I came around the corner one day while Brink was on a break, and I find her doing the dishes in my kitchen because they were just starting to pile up, and she had nothing to do, so she did my dishes. I had, I had everybody doing food runs. I had everybody doing their own wardrobe. I had everybody doing each other's makeup on set. Nobody was just an actor or just the line producer or just the craft service person. Everybody kind of came together and did their own, and helped out just to get the thing accomplished. The majority of the shoot was done in Racine, Wisconsin, and we did a farm out in the county, and we did Corin and Jake's house apartment is mine. I moved into the apartment to use it because a friend of mine had lived there previous, and I wanted to capitalize on the uniqueness of the apartment and wrote the story around that. And then when he was going to move, I was like, no, you can't move. I need to make my movie there. Makeup effects for the film were done very cheaply. Our main makeup effects guy was Philip Bergen. We just used Caro syrup like every other horror movie in the world uses, dyed red, and it was just about lighting. It was about lighting, and it was about getting these trick shots and doing shots in reverse. It wasn't too FX heavy, but it was really, it was all about lighting, and it was just about quick shots and guys who kind of knew how to make it look as real as possible and nice and juicy. Considering the level that we were at, I'm amazed at how few catastrophes there were, but the ones that we had were pretty major. Jennifer Lynn Gable, who was my line producer, got a metal sliver in her tear duct, down inside of her tear duct. Everybody on set cried at one point. We had broken hearts. Jared Howard, who played Elliot, a friend who was very close to him, died during production, and he still went on that same day, and he finished the movie. Devastated as he was, he pulled it all together. I did a scene where we run through the cornfield, and I had red on my shoulders, and I had already had nerve problems in my back and neck, and did quite the number on myself by doing that, jacked myself up even worse. Yeah, lots of really fun stuff. Trying to get this film into theaters has been a bitch and a half.
Girl, you've got more on your hands than you know what to deal with.
Had a big snafus with the editing. We had problems with the in post, getting the edit done in the correct formats that were needed, and had to go back to the master tapes. And the film should have been done. We wrapped shooting in October, and I should have had a rough cut in November, and I didn't get my first rough cut until March. And then we had some sound problems, and it was taking care of those, and then we had to do the music, and that took a lot of time. And then we had some shots that didn't work. We wanted to get it into maybe 5 to 10 theaters to start, and kind of see if it would progress from there. But one of the major problems was that we were shooting or projecting digitally, and a good majority of the theaters that we were approaching still don't do digital. Some theaters did turn us away because it's a gay-themed film, and I'm not going to name any in particular, but and though they did not say because it's a gay-themed film, we got it's a family-oriented theater. So yeah, just a big fat nightmare. So originally the intent was to have the movie done and in the bag and ready to put out in January of 2005. And then it was March of 2005, May of 2005, July of 2005, and then it was August of 2005. And finally, we premiered it on September 29th, 2005. One girl in particular came up and said, "I've never experienced such a range of emotions in a 2-hour span before." She said, "I laughed, and I cried, and I was scared." And she said, I felt this movie. And that is an unbelievable response for me. I can't, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. And the fact that I'm hearing it is kind of what puts the cherry on top of the sundae for me. October,